when you're blessed to make the All-Star team,
No matter how many times,
it's always special.
So, here we go. This is envelope number 1.
Western Conference. Show it what it is. Western Conference
It's
front.
the Western Conference front court.
Oh, da-da-da-da. You're the first to know, Ernie.
This is a big one here.
Andrew Wiggins of the Golden State
Okay, congrats,
Warriors.
Congratulations, Andrew.
I'm so proud of Andrew Wiggins. You know why? Because the first time in his career, he didn't have to be held accountable of being the number 1 pick.
Good for him that he made it, but he ain't an all-star starting quality play. I mean, he is maybe a fringy kind of all-star on the bench type guy, and he's played very well, but he's a tick above average at the 2-guard spot. Let's be honest.
What does that mean to you, and what has that journey been like?
Thank you. It means a lot. You know, I've been working hard, been in different situations, and, you know, I found a home here.
NBA fans are mad. Not at referees this time, but at Golden State Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins being an all-star starter. I want to look more into this. Did he deserve it? Who did deserve it? And what the NBA could do to make fan voting better. But before I go further, I want to say that this is not a video hating Andrew Wiggins. I like the guy. I always have. And while many disagree he should be a starter, I think we all more or less agree he should be a reserve at the very least. And in 5 years' time, no one even cares whether the player was a starter or a reserve, just if they made the team or not. But while people do care, I thought this was an important video to make. So let's get into it. Andrew Wiggins is averaging 18.1 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on a 36-13 win team. Immediately those stick out as decent stats, but not one as an all-star starter. His defense is good. He's averaging 0.9 steals and 0.6 blocks a game, with people talking him up for all NBA defense teams this year. He's also shooting above 40% from 3 for the first time in his career. There are downsides to his game, of course, though. The fact that he only hits 66% from his free throws is worrying, and maybe some Warriors fans would like to see his 1.5 turnovers per game lowered down. So all in all, he's doing well, but you could probably find many players similar to him who aren't nearly talked about this way. A lot of you may have seen a graphic making its way around Twitter, in which it shows that Wiggins and Jazz forward Bojan Bogdanovic to have practically identical stats. Wiggins had 3.5 million fan votes. Bogdanovic, nowhere to be seen. But another player with more or less identical stats to Wiggins is Tobias Harris. As we can see, Harris actually has better stats than Wiggins, but since Wiggins is a better defender, we can probably call this even. But then again, Wiggins, 3.5 million votes. Harris, nowhere to be seen. And while I've been trying to convince myself for years as a Philly fan that Tobias Harris is an all-star, he isn't, and definitely not an all-star starter. Andrew Wiggins is though, but who replaces him in the starting lineup? I want to point out here that NBA all-star rules for voting are stupid. I'll be looking more into that later. Anyway, as you probably know, players are split into their conferences for voting, and then split again by positions, with guards having their own spot and forwards and centers being voted together. Now how the NBA decides who's a guard and who's a forward is ridiculous, but like I said, we can get into that later. So if any forward or center from the Western Conference can be voted into Wiggins' spot, who were possible replacements? The one that sticks out to me is Paul George. He was behind Wiggins in fan voting, has better stats, is arguably a better defender, and is keeping a Kawhi-less Clippers team in the playoffs. Of course, he's injured and may miss the All-Star game, but Adam Silver can always vote in a replacement like he will for injured Kevin Durant. But you could also make a case for Wiggins' former teammate, Karl Anthony Towns. The case for Towns to replace Wiggins seems weird, considering they're about as different as chips and chalk, but it would work by the NBA's rules. Towns has 23-9, has led a young Timberwolves team to a playoff spot, and is definitely capable of being an all-star starter. Another player who's fallen off the radar these last couple of years is Brandon Ingram. Now when it comes to the fans, they clearly don't rate Brandon Ingram too highly, as he didn't make the top 10 in the final returns, meaning he must have gotten less votes than DeAndre Ayton's 612,000. I'm not exactly sure why. Not many fans are noticing it, but Ingram's quietly putting up 22, 6 and 5 this year. Maybe not as good as Cat or PG, but definitely worthy of a mention. Then the final replacement is Wiggins' current teammate Draymond Green. Green has been averaging a triple single this year, which is something people mock him for, but stats don't tell the whole story with Draymond. His willingness on defense, his IQ, and his playmaking are all levels above others. It's why Green has 3 NBA championship rings in his house. So who deserves to be a starter? Well, I'm going to rule out Draymond. With all due respect to Dre, this was easy. Anyone who's been watching the Warriors this year knows that Wiggins has been the second best player on that team. Ingram also misses out due to his record. While I don't purely base individual awards off team record, I do also believe it should play a factor when it comes to a decision. Now it's tough to me, because Cat and PG both deserve a spot in the starting lineup. So let's save time and just make Paul George the starter, who then gets replaced by Cat. But to me, either of those guys deserve to make this more than Wiggins does. This is the part of the video I was looking forward to getting to. Literally everything is messed up when it comes to NBA All-Star voting. I mean everything. From the way they give players certain positions, to to all the times they just do double votes on random days. It's just weird. But the worst thing, by far, is that no one, and I mean no one, takes it seriously. The fans have turned it into a popularity contest. 2 years ago, Taco Fall and Alex Trusso were the fans' top vote getters. We have made strides from that, but still, many fans vote for a favourite player whether they deserve it or not. Andrew Wiggins is a popular player. Born in Canada, he would have had the entire country voting for him. Throw in the fact that he's on the Warriors, and that's going to equal a lot of votes. The same thing happened last year, even though Wig was nowhere near All-Star level. I think a lot of people underestimate the role fans play in the All-Star voting. While it isn't 100% of the votes anymore, fans still swing half of it. This might not be good enough to make Taco or Caruso a starter, but if you vote for a player who is good, but not All-Star starter good, such as Andrew Wiggins, that's still going to get him into the All-Star team, since I'm sure some members of the media voted for him as a dark horse. Everyone knows that 25% of the votes come from players. You would think that these guys would be the best people to vote, the most knowledgeable, and they take it the most seriously. The player voting comes from a range of stupidity. Some are flat out dumb and do this, and then there's some who probably vote for themselves or their teammates. Another thing, however, is the fact that there's going to be older players who get voted in over younger guys. Guys like Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, who are all all-time greats but having poor seasons, and are all stars the best. Hell, Russ probably won't make the All-Star team. Yet he gets more votes than a younger guy because half the league played against him for a decade and know how good he is, and the other half watched them when they were a kid. Let me put it this way. If you told Jason Tatum that he can either vote for Russell Westbrook or Brandon Ingram, who do you think he's voting for? Probably the guy who watched as a kid. But if fans don't take it seriously, and players don't take it seriously, then the only ones who are taking it seriously are the media. When the only people who are actually voting properly are Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, and God help us all, Ramona Shelburne, we're screwed. In this final part of the video, I want to look at ways to fix the voting system. Something that has come up recently is the idea of positionless voting. Just the best 5 players from each conference on the court, simple as. But I don't like it. Sure, it'd be fine now, in this balanced league where we've got elite guards shooting threes and elite big men dropping 30 a night. But time's always changing, and this method might not work down the line. If you tried this in 2015, when the centre position was dying, then Anthony Davis might have missed out in favour for someone like Kemba Walker. Similarly, in 1960 when everyone wanted to be a centre, Jerry West might have taken a seat on the bench for a guy like Bob Petit. A good player, sure, but not at the same level. When it's 2035, Steph and Dame are gone and suddenly the league is being run by 7-foot guys who can literally play point guard. What's going to happen when a 6'3" guy drops 25 and 5, but misses out to a 7'1" guy averaging 16, 8 and 8 on a worse team? That's not fair at all. What I do like is a flex option. It's simple. 2 guards, 2 forwards or centres, and 1 guy who, despite position already being filled, can make the starting lineup. If people want to see 3 guards, they can see 3 guards. If they want 2 centres, that can happen too. They can keep traditional if they want. It just gives the fans more variety. And when a player misses out because his position is wrong, like DeMar DeRozan this year, who hasn't actually been a shooting guard since 2016, that can be fixed by making them the flex option. We're not trying to build a championship winning team. We just want to see the best players play in a game featuring the best players. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Talk to you later.